dusty yoga mat in the corner of the room, the half-finished canvas leaning against the wall, and the 17 browser tabs you've kept open for a week because you're currently halfway through a Python certification. At a glance, your life looks like a graveyard of abandoned dreams. Society has a label for you: commitment issues. They say you lack grit. They tell you that jack of all trades is just a polite way of saying you're a master of nothing. But what if I told you that graveyard isn't a sign of failure? It's an evolutionary feature. And the shame you feel is just evidence that you've been measuring yourself with the wrong ruler. Psychology suggests that your inability to pick a lane is actually a rare cognitive architecture. While the world prepares for a past that's disappearing, your brain is unconsciously building a survival strategy for a future where specialization is a death sentence. The lie you believed. Here's the story you've been told your entire life. Success requires laser focus. Pick a lane. Commit. Specialize. Become the world's foremost expert in one microscopic thing, and the rewards will follow. This worked brilliantly for about 100 years. We built an entire industrial system around it. Predictable career ladders, narrow expertise, standardized pathways. The problem? That world is dying. See, the 20th century operated like a closed game with stable rules. Think chess. If you studied the same opening moves for years, you'd win. Specialization made perfect sense when the environment was stable. See, but you don't live in a stable environment anymore, and your nervous system knows it. While everyone around you is still trying to play the old game, your brain has already detected the shift. It's sending you a message through your restlessness. Stop optimizing for a world that no longer exists. The modern landscape is what psychologists call a wicked learning environment. The rules shift constantly. Feedback is delayed or unclear, and yesterday's expertise can become tomorrow's obsolete knowledge. In this environment, the specialist is actually vulnerable. They've invested everything into one basket, and when that basket gets disrupted, and it will, they're starting from zero. Before we break down exactly how your chaos becomes brilliance, let me know in the comments. How many half-finished projects are in your graveyard right now? I'll be honest, we're all among friends here. If this reframe is already making sense, drop a heart emoji so I know you're putting the pieces together. The reframe. So what's actually happening when you jump from graphic design to neuroscience, or from learning Spanish to studying finance? You're not being flaky. You're gathering what researchers call diverse conceptual toolkits. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people trying to solve a complex business problem. Person A is a marketing specialist with deep, narrow knowledge. Person B has spent 3 years in marketing, 2 years teaching, dabbled in photography, and learned basic coding. Who do you think sees the solution first? Counterintuitively, it's often person B. Why? Because breakthrough thinking doesn't come from going deeper into what you already know. It comes from making connections between things that don't obviously belong together. This is called lateral thinking, that wasted photography hobby. It taught you visual hierarchy that now revolutionizes your marketing. Teaching forced you to simplify complexity, and coding gave you logic. You weren't wasting time. You were unconsciously building a multidimensional lens that lets you see patterns others miss entirely. The science is simple. When you learn something new in completely different domains, your brain builds neural bridges. These cross-domain connections are exactly what insight feels like. That aha moment when two unrelated ideas suddenly click together and generate something novel. The burnout trap. I know what you're thinking. You're exhausted. While everyone else is 10 levels ahead in their single career, you're still jumping around at level 1. This is the pain point nobody talks about with the polymathic personality. The emotional toll of feeling perpetually behind. You scroll social media and see people younger than you who are already climbing predictable ladders, while you're trying to figure out if you should double down on the marketing thing or finally finish that online course about data analytics. Here's what you're missing. You're not building a single tower. You're building a bridge. Most people are T-shaped, one deep pillar of expertise. You are M-shaped. You have multiple pillars of competence connected by curiosity. But here's the trap. You cannot build all your pillars at once. If you try to master woodworking, launch a podcast, learn Japanese, and start a business all in the same quarter, you will burn out. The secret successful polymaths understand is something called seasonal depth. You commit intensely to one domain for a meaningful period, maybe 6 months or maybe 3 years. Then you rotate. Not because you failed, but because you completed that chapter. You built that pillar. Stop viewing your life as a single race and start seeing it as strategic chapters. The discipline you learned from music informs your business. The storytelling you developed through writing that book transforms your presentations. By the time you reach your third pillar, the skills compound. In the lattice mind, nothing is ever wasted. The evolutionary advantage. There is a final secret to your chaos, and it comes from biology. Cognitive redundancy. In nature, redundancy isn't a waste, it's a powerful survival strategy. Look, why do you have 2 kidneys when you only need 1? It's insurance. If one system fails, you have a backup. The same principle applies to your skill set. Think about 2 futures. Scenario A. You're a master of one specific software framework. You've spent 10 years mastering it. Then, overnight, AI automates your job or the industry pivots to a different technology. Now you aren't just unemployed, you're obsolete. Let's look at scenario B. You're pretty good at that same software framework, but you've also taught workshops, done freelance writing, and you understand video editing. When the market shifts, you don't panic, you pivot. You combine your coding knowledge with your teaching experience and become a technical educator. Or you start creating tutorial videos using those editing skills. You weren't dabbling, you were building resilience. In an unpredictable world, the person with multiple competencies is more secure than the person with one mastery. Your curiosity didn't make you scattered, it made you bulletproof. Conclusions. So here's what I want you to do. Stop apologizing for your curiosity. Those abandoned projects weren't failures, they were research. Every single half-finished task taught you something that's now wired into how you think. You were never meant to be just one thing. You were designed to be a translator, someone who can speak multiple languages and build bridges between worlds that others can't even see. Now, the world doesn't need more specialists who know everything about nothing. It needs synthesizers who can connect the dots across domains. That's you. Now I want to hear from you. Which abandoned project from your past are you actually grateful for now? Drop it in the comments and let's reframe those graveyards together. And if you're ready to build your M-shaped life without the burnout, subscribe to Mind Decode for the full seasonal depth framework. Stop measuring yourself with a specialist's ruler. Go embrace your beautiful, chaotic, and brilliant mind.